How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Box to Box. The turnaround in games is quite quick. We're just coming off the back of that big win at the Emirates against Manchester City, 5-1. And I'm recording this now with 4 hours to go of the transfer window. It looks like we're signing nobody, so that's kind of taken the life out of that win for me at this moment in time. But we've got a semi-final Carabao Cup second leg to go, albeit at St James Park, with a 2-goal lead to turn around, and none other than Matty Renton is on the channel. Long time, Matty. How have you been?
Well, it was good until the last couple of games, to be honest, mate. I really wish this game had been played the week after the first leg, like it usually is. I don't know why this time there was a month's break. I don't know why this year the Carabao Cup final's in March. But I remember speaking to Robbie after the game outside the Emirates after we beat you 2-0 in the first leg, and he was saying, you know, a month's a long time in football, and that's been proven, man. Before then, we were formidable at home, unbeaten at home, really, apart from a blip against West Ham. You know, we got some big wins, even a big 3-3 draw against Liverpool. Nobody was coming to St James Park and doing anything. But in that time period between the first leg and now, we've been battered off Bournemouth at home, and we've just been beat 2-1 off Fulham. So I'm getting nervous, bro. I'm getting nervous.
What did you put it down to, though? Because that was where I was going to touch in on first. Leading up to the first leg, banging form, firing in all cylinders. It was a big winning streak. I forgot what it was at that moment, maybe 8-game winning streak or so on. And, you know, you got the job done at the Emirates. Last 4 games in the league, 2 losses. You mentioned Fulham being 1-0 up and then the Bournemouth thrashing as well. What's happened in the last couple of weeks that's caused that? Or was that run always going to come to an end in some way, shape or form? How are you feeling about it?
The Bournemouth thing wasn't too worrying for me because, listen, Bournemouth are capable of that. You know, they've got a really good team at the minute. They're on fire. They've got a really good manager. So, you know, it's something Bournemouth can do. They did it against Forest last week. So, do you know what I mean? That kind of showed what they're about in this league this season. So, it was the Fulham one on the weekend for me, man. It was the complacency that is coming back. It was the inconsistency that we saw at the start of the season. And then we did go on 9-10 wins in a row, progressing in the Cups, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. And I think we've just went stale. I think we're just asking too much of these players every single week. It's the same starting 11. We've got no squad depth. And I'm sure Newcastle fans, Arsenal fans, me and you could argue and whinge about this transfer window of how dead it's been for both clubs, for all clubs nearly, unless you're Man City and you can just continue spending whatever you want. FFP and PSR actually affects other teams like us, and we haven't been able to buy. You know, we've sold Almiron, we're selling Lloyd Kelly now, and we're not replacing them. We can't replace them. Apparently we can't spend anything until this PSR deadline in June. So we're really lacking some squad depth, mate. We're really lacking that rotation, that freshness. Wilson's injured, Barnes is injured. There's nobody to bring in. If Tonali's not having a good game, if Isak's not having a good game, see you later. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing else that can happen. There's no strength and depth. Yeah. There's no backup options. And Eddie Howe's used that word stale in these press conferences, and that's the way it's been, man. It's just, it needs a boost, this team, and we can't get it.
So who's the key players missing then? You mentioned Barnes there. Joe Linton, he's unavailable, right? Or
it looks that way. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but he was pictured in a knee brace after the Fulham loss. So that would obviously surely rule him out for a couple of weeks at least. But to be honest, he's been poor. He hasn't been his usual self the last few matches. So we could bring in, obviously, Arsenal's ex-player, Joe Willock. We could bring in Louis Miley, who's a great young talent. So I'm not that bothered about that, although Joe Linton, we are going to miss that monster, I suppose. But with Bruno and Tonali there, hopefully we've still got enough.
He started on the left against us, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Linton, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did cause problems that game. I remember him, up and down, as he does. But who's the key threat for you then? Who needs to have that game for you lot to get the job done? Because you are 2-0 up, but I do sense some nerves off the back of we can call it a collapse against Fulham. But who's the key man for you then? Does it go without saying? Is it Isak? But I know Bruno stepped up at points. Tonali, since he's come in, has been, you know, he's been quality. You know, I might as well not mince my words. Tonali's impressed me since he's returned.
I think Tonali should be the one that I mentioned because it does go without saying, Isak, doesn't he? You and the Arsenal fans know all about his qualities, how good he is. Started, he's been wanting him. So you'll see on the night again, like Cecil said last time at St James, he was auditioning for you apparently. Well, he's done a good job so far, hasn't he? Scored in the league, scored in the in the Carabao first leg at your place, and hopefully he does the business again, because he is honestly world class. He is world class. So if he's on it, Anthony Gordon, let's not forget him as well. He's a great outlet. Yeah. And of course, Sandro Tonali, since that ban, since coming back now, I mean, he nearly scored an absolute screamer against Fulham on the weekend. It hit the crossbar from about 30 yards out. If that goes in, could have been a different story. But what he brings to the team is just, he stands out. You can see why he was Milan captain. You can see why he's meant to be one of the best midfielders in the world. You know, people are talking about him, the Italian, starts for Italy and all that. So yeah, if Tonali, Gordon and Isak are on it, hopefully it'll be enough to see us get through to the final.
Is this the one for you, this competition? Is this the next game, the biggest game coming up for you, considering the drought? We're both in a drought in some way, shape or form, but Newcastle's unfortunate under Mike Ashley all those years, the name, the establishment, the brand deserved more. But you are back at a point where there is optimism. You made a final, unfortunately lost that to United. You're now back in a semi-final in the driver's seat, but you're also, that run also put you on the cusp of top four, in and around the conversation now moving forward to the end of the season. You mentioned how light you are, but for you, is it go as strong as you can in this one because this is this is the focus for now, or is it a case of balancing it? You know, Wenger said it best: top four is a trophy, and since then, you know, many clubs with certain types of owners see top four as a trophy in their back pocket. They get a hell of a lot of money, but you, as a purebred Newcastle fan, is this the biggest game for you coming up? Is this the one that you'd sacrifice others for?
I mean, I was thankfully lucky enough to be at PSG last year, Milan last year, Dortmund last year. I've had a taste of the Champions League now. I don't give a crap about it anymore. Not for now. Give me that trophy. Do you know what I mean? Give me that trophy above everything. I haven't seen a trophy in my lifetime. You're talking about droughts, Turkish. How long is yours? 6 years, was it? 5, 6 years?
I'm quite entitled. I'm talking 21 years since the league, but
obviously
FA Cup
it's different objectives because Arsenal have been a bigger club, spent more money and all this. So I get that, but mate, mine's been 70 years domestically since we won the FA Cup in '55. That is obscene. Do you know what I mean? So we have to focus. We've got 1 foot in Wembley basically with a 2-0 advantage at home. It should be enough. I'm not saying it is. I'm starting to get nervous the way you're playing, the way we're playing, form at the minute. But we have to take it as this is our everything. We've got FA Cup coming up, whatever. You're that close to Wembley now. We have to make sure it's ours. We missed out 2 years ago. Let's do it this year.
Surely St James Park will be up for it then. But what do you think an early goal? Look at the first couple of minutes against City, an early goal for Arsenal. What do you think a goal early on for Arsenal does to St James Park? Are you in a precarious position in terms of emotions, you know, in the stadium, considering the last couple of results, the nerves you're talking about now? An early goal for Arsenal, do you think from there it could crumble, or are you still confident that even going a goal down you can manoeuvre your way past us?
What we've got as it stands, about 48 hours until the game, a couple of days time. Turkish, this is water. I'm tempted to get the brown ale out. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting that nervous already. All right, so that's how nervous St James Park's going to be. Everyone's going to be having a drink more than we usually do just to settle down. But that will result in an electric atmosphere. But obviously, if you get the first goal, my God, everyone is going to be terrified, I think. I hope that obviously it's still enough to lift the lads, keep it going. But that first goal, the old cliche, it is so pivotal, like. It really is, man. And even if it was the first 5 minutes and it's 1-0, we're like, man, it's going to be a long night unless we hit back quickly. But even if it's 0-0 and you score with 5-10 minutes ago and it's 1-0, all you need is one more extra time. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to hear nothing about, we're 2-0 up, let's just keep it tight. Nah, we should go for this game like we go for every game in the Premier League, like we have done recently against Arsenal at home. Straight into his. I want to see that energy, that press, because that's been lacking in the last couple of games. That's why we've been turned over. So I hope that's back on Wednesday night. It's going to have to be.
That's what we just talked about in the preview. James suggested that he thinks you might, first 20, 30 minutes, take the game to us, try get that goal that, you know, will pretty much take it away from us. Robbie argued that maybe with a 2-goal lead, you set up a bit more tentatively. I think the Newcastle of 2 years ago, yes. But I think the Newcastle of today, I lean more towards James, and that you will try and take the game to us. Whether that's a counter-punch with Gordon and Isak and, you know, the pace you have in the attack, or whether that is trying to take the game to us, press us from the get-go, because your midfield as a unit, even without a Joe Linton, when you have the quality of Bruno and Tonali in there, as a unit, anyone that accompanies those two, and if it is a Willock with that added spice of being an ex-Arsenal player, how do you see yourself setting up pressing us from early, trying to get that third goal essentially, or do you think it's about protecting what you currently have?
I think we have to go for it as well. I think James is right. I hope he's right, because I think if we allow you to just come at us, that breeds confidence to you lot. It breeds confidence to the 5,000 Arsenal fans sitting in the skyscraper. It'll breed confidence to Arteta. Do you know what I mean? It'll change everything. But if we come out bang like that, then that gives us hope. That gives us the ascendancy, and that's what we need, because our defence has been poor lately, man. 6 goals conceded in the last 2. That's got to give you a lot of hope coming up here, knowing that you need a couple to get back in the tie. I think it is, man. I think it's the old Kevin Keegan. It's the attack is the best form of defence. I think we score that first goal, 3-0 up aggregate. There's no way come back from that. But if you get a sniff, you get a chance, you get a glimmer, then you'll have that hope that we don't want to give you.
Yeah, and before we round it off with predictions, who are you looking at in this Arsenal side? I'm going to expect and assume that Nwaneri starts. I know he didn't start against City, he started the Champions League fixture, he scored in the last couple now, somewhat a trademark goal of his already, so early on, 17 years of age. Assuming he plays in the attack, Havertz up top, Martinelli or Trossard, it's even hard to say. He might not start Nwaneri, but who would you see as Arsenal's biggest threat? Who do you think you need to keep quiet? Some mention Gabriel this season because of our set-piece threat. Some mention Odegaard pulling the strings. Some have mentioned Saka. Obviously, he's not available for us. But who are you looking at as the one you need to keep quiet or keep away from the box?
I hope he doesn't start Nwaneri, because that's who I was going to pick. I've been so impressed with him, man. And, of course, Lewis Skelly, who scored yesterday. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's these youngsters who are going to want it more that I would be looking out for, that I would be worried for. Because in recent times, we've managed to keep Martinelli quiet. He did have a good chance at the Emirates, and I think Dubravka saved it, or he hit the post. You've got Havertz there, who scored on the weekend. That might give him a little bit of a boost after a bit of a dry spell. But for me, man, it is going to be them set pieces, and it is going to be the pace of Lewis Skelly and the pace of Nwaneri.
Yeah, fair.
Because our defence is aging. We really needed the centre back this window, mate. We really did. You've got Byrne and Shaw. They're 32, 33 years old, man. Played every game this season.
Yeah, I hear you. But like you said, this PSR stuff, it tends to affect other clubs more so than other clubs. I'll leave it at that. But moving forward now, the game Wednesday night, Matty, you're the home team, you're 2-0 up. What's your prediction on the 90 minutes? How do you think it's going to go?
Oh, I'm going to be real with you, Turkish. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to be deluded. I'm not going to lie. No blind faith here. I actually think we're going to get beat. But I do think we're going to go through on the night. I think we'll get beat 2-1. But I think, obviously, we'll still go through an aggregate. I can see a 2-1. I can see a 1-1. But, I'm honestly dreading it, mate. I was so excited for this game. We've already booked Wembley. I booked the Brentford quarter-final, to be honest. Ahead of me times. But now I'm like, I might be having to hit that cancellation button. You know what I'm saying? Because it's getting a bit spooky.
I hear you. But you know what's funny, Matty? Obviously, Arsenal, like I mentioned before, the league titles and whatnot. Stop me if I'm wrong, but there must be the feeling of this is what it's about, though. Being back here, feeling like this, because it's a big game. It's a chance for us to win something. You went through so many years under Mike Ashley where you never had those moments over decades.
Yeah.
So there is that. I get the nerves and the pressure of it all, but you're back in that moment where every year you could potentially pick something up. You've got a quality side throughout, so
it's a good nerve, isn't it? It's a good nerve to feel. It's better than the relegation nerves when I make Ashley. Do you know what I mean? It's a different story there. I think it's just because we want it so much. Do you know what I mean? We need it. We want it so much that it just means everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to press you on this set. We're going to wrap it there. I'm going to go. I've said 2-2 across the board. I'm going to lean 2-1 Arsenal on box-to-box for box-to-box purposes. But I do think you've done enough to go through, if I'm honest with you.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
If we get the first goal early, then ask me again. But I'll be on the watch along here anyway. Hey, Matty, tell them where they can find you. Obviously, the Magpie Channel, but we'll put the socials and stuff in the description. Let them know.
Nice one, mate. Yeah, the Magpie Channel on Instagram, Twitter, all of that. Magpie Channel TV on YouTube. Stay tuned. Hopefully, have some good fan cams coming as well on Wednesday night. Or you might even like it even more. If you knock us out, you'll definitely be subscribing.
There you go, people. Go show the Magpie Channel some love across the board. Socials, Magpie Channel TV on YouTube. It's in the title anyway, so just give it a click. Matty, love for the love as always, my bro. And we'll catch up after, but you're going live as well. I'm saying you're going live, this is coming out after, but Matty has gone live with Robbie, so go check that out. And like he said, there'll be fan cams after the game on Wednesday night as well. Matty puts in that work, so go show Magpie Channel TV some love. Also hit the like button, people, before I forget. Make sure you're subscribed, do all of that good stuff. We'll be back again, watch along, previews, all of that should be out, coming out. And obviously then the Dubai break is upon us, a chance to talk and just, see where we're at. Hopefully that's in a final, but we'll see come Wednesday. Hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, people, and love for the love. We're out, peace.